This is your official Leguizamo Rama spoiler warning. If you have never seen 1997's A Brother's Kiss, an American indie film, and you've always wanted to see it and you do not want it spoiled, then do not watch or listen to this episode because we will be spoiling it. Other than that, stick around.
Peace. I hate the word.
Hello and welcome to Mish and Zach's Leguizamo, a podcast where each week two people watch one thing starring their favourite character actor, John Leguizamo. I'm one of those two people. My name is Zachary Thomas Ruane. You might know me from having one brother, two sisters. I'm joined as always by Mish Wittrup, who you might know from
having one older sister.
This week we are talking about a movie starring John Leguizamo. Take it away, Mish.
Excellent. So this week this is a very short blurb.
That's fine.
This week we watched a 1997 drama film called A Brother's Kiss, the story of two brothers, one a cop and the other a junkie. The thing that differentiates this movie from other films that are quite similar to this one is that there's a lot of flashbacks and we see how these brothers got where they were going. Rosie Perez is also in this film, and there was a delicious part where Marissa Tomei popped up as well, and I didn't expect it. John Leguizamo is also in this film. He plays a drug dealer named Lefty.
Great.
Is that fair?
It's not Marissa Tomei in it.
Yeah, mate.
Who was she?
The blonde. I know. It blew my mind. I was like, where do I know her? Where do I know? I was like, what the fuck? And then I went, oh my God, my cousin Vinny. Oh my God, my cousin Vinny. And I was like, it's Marissa Tomei, dyed, I don't think it's a wig, dyed bleach blonde hair, very short, playing a junkie.
Wow. I didn't have a chance to look this movie up. This is one I would have loved to have looked up. I watched it this morning and I kind of came straight here after having watched it. And so I didn't have the chance to Google it, which is sometimes nice. It's nice to just, because that's how people used to experience movies. So a great thing about someone say once is like, I'm going to raw dog a movie. I'm going to watch it without being on my phone. And then afterwards, I'm going to turn it off and go to bed without logging it or Letterboxd or looking up the creators. And it's so true. That's how we used to watch movies. And that's how I feel right now. You used to go, who is that? And then you just never knew.
Yeah.
That was Marissa Tomei.
Because
I spent the whole time being like, who is this?
She's great, isn't she?
She's really good.
I'm going to say straight off the bat, right up top, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I really enjoyed it.
So here's the thing, crazy story. As I was watching it, was like, I don't think I'm in the mood for something like this. And because I think sometimes you see movies on this journey, you see movies like this where it's not. Sometimes the movies are really authentic, but they don't have a strong enough thematic core.
Well, we have watched, especially because of this podcast. So sorry to interrupt you there, but I'm supporting your argument. We've watched so many drama films, and like we've said it before, like we've watched a bunch that are very kind of like, I couldn't remember them now, like you know the drama films we're talking about, right? And I was worried it was going to be one of them.
I was worried what we were going to see was something that was either really inauthentic, but you know, maybe the story was solid, or different, which is where it's really authentic, really horrific. Because there is some horrific shit that goes down in this film.
Horrific shit.
And I was like, if this is horrific and nothing else, sometimes that happens where it's horrific and it's painful, but it doesn't like come together, or it doesn't say anything, or it doesn't ask anything. It's just awful. And those ones I hate more than the first one because I feel so sad for the creator because they're often really real and really authentic. And I just feel so awful that it doesn't get over the line in communicating something or saying something. This film, I was worried. And then just as I was watching it, I think I had a very similar journey to you. As I was watching it, I was just like, oh, this is quite a beautiful story. This is really beautifully done.
Yeah, I agree. I genuinely had the exact same journey as you. So I knew I had to watch it this morning. I did not watch it previously. Yeah. And this morning I had to go to a laundromat with a whole bunch of laundry, like a bunch of sheets, towels. Like I have a washing machine, but it was too much, too overwhelming. I'm just taking to a laundromat. I'm like, it was very uni because at uni I didn't have a washing machine. I used to do all my clothes at the laundromat always. And it was where I would go and study scripts or learn lines and stuff like that. It was always at the laundromat, which like, now that I think about it, was probably quite contrived kind of go, I'm just going to go learn this at the laundromat.
No, I think it's good.
But no, it was
I
no
love
one
a
was ever
laundromat
there. It was like
moment.
10:30 at night, and I would just sit in a laundromat in Ballarat and learn lines.
I've done it, yeah.
And also because no one was there, you could say them out loud. There's a big open space you can walk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went to the laundromat this morning and I put it in and I had it playing on my phone with headphones in while I was sorting laundry into washing machines. That's how much I was just like, I'm paying attention. It's the first 10 minutes, right? And then I just kind of was like, oh, hold on, I'm going to watch that. And Carrigan from Casper is in it. And that's what caught me for the mum. Right, who is who deserves to be named by
That's fine.
name?
Yeah, go on.
No, her name is Kathy Moriarty.
Yeah.
Moriarty, sorry. She's I think one of those wonderful character actors. She's in But I'm a Cheerleader as well. She's also the wife in Raging Bull.
Yeah.
But I know her from Casper.
That's funny.
Anyway, and then I started to pay attention, and I was sitting in this laundromat, and I was like, I need to properly focus on this. I went and took myself out to brunch and sat and watched this movie over a coffee and a vegan shashuka.
So I was watching it because it's hard to get. So you found was it a fan or did you find it? You found
a shout out to our listeners who helped me find this because this movie was impossible to find. Not available on DVD, not available. I could not find it. And I don't even know what it was.
I suspect a fan may have sent me a DVD of it once and I lost it. So apologies to that fan.
Well, there's one DVD.
Shout out to the other fans.
Yeah.
Shout out because we were watching it on like a Russian YouTube.
I couldn't understand a thing. Yeah, like as in like everything around it. It looked like YouTube, but in a completely different language and pop-ups kept happening.
So I was watching it on that and I was watching it on my phone. And as I was watching it, I started watching it and I was like, at some point I'll figure out how to watch it on a tablet or a laptop so I can be on my phone while it's on. And I had the same journey. I was watching it on my phone and then I just stayed with it, and I watched the whole film and I didn't do anything else. It just worked. It worked, and it's one of those things where I go, maybe it didn't cut through, and I can see how. And maybe the reason it's hard to get now is more just because of rights issues or a million complicated things. But I just thought it was a really.
It caught me. It captured me. It did it really did. Like I was in this. I was watching. I wasn't doing anything else. I wanted to watch this film. And it was on my phone, so I couldn't be on my phone while I was watching it. So I was totally in it. I just think it was, I think, like I said, we watched a lot of drama films and you watch a lot of like coming of age drama films and like, I've watched like a bunch of like, bad kid comes good kind of movies, right?
Also, but this story of two brothers, this story I've seen a lot of, and I've seen it done really well, and I've seen it done really mediocrely.
Well, I think what I really liked about this movie is essentially like I kind of skirted over it in the blurb, but yeah, there's these two brothers, and there's the eldest brother is this very kind of charismatic. Got a lot of mates, all the young, like, and it's them as kids, right? So he's like a teenager and his younger brother's probably more like 8 or 9 and he's probably more like 14. And he's really charismatic, kisses a lot of girls and goes to a lot of parties, smokes ciggies, and everyone seems to really like him, but also gets himself into a lot of trouble. And he's got this little brother that obviously really looks up to him. But what I found really lovely was the relationship that the older brother had towards the young, very protective and very caring and loving, and like was basically raising this kid right to be a man, and their mum is Kathy Moriarty, who is so good. I love her. But what they do is they kind of oscillate between these like flashbacks of them as kids and that kind of dynamic to current day, which is that the younger brother, who's a little bit more socially awkward and shy and nervous, has become a cop, and the older brother is just really trying to get his claws into like a good life, but finds himself constantly getting complicated and messed up in the wrong places. And you see that story a lot, but I think the use of this flashback to see this kind of like very real relationship between these two brothers, it just humanized the whole thing. And I don't know, that was probably poorly explained, but yeah.
No, it's good. I think what I really responded to is I think stories like this. So the way I would say it traces their whole life, right? Again, you're going to hear this. There are a lot of films like this that tell this story. It traces their whole life and the trauma they go through and everything. But it's really about this, I think, older brother who protects his younger brother from, from all the like that the world is throwing at them. But I also just love, there's so many like nuances. I'll talk to some of them, but there's this sense of here's a brother that protects him, and then this younger brother becomes a cop and, sort of gets his way out of that life and out of those sort of patterns, while the older brother kind of descends and you see them kind of fall apart and everything. But what it really tells in the end, at the end of the story, is a very beautiful story of that this brother kind of took the brunt of society for his younger brother.
Yeah.
He broke the cycle and then he became a bad guy by all accounts. Like he was doing bad things, but he took it so his younger brother could get out of it. And I think that sort of story is really lovely, but it can often fall into a trap of personal choice, or it can fall into a trap of not. I think any story, that story of one's a cop, one's a criminal, two brothers, even the good ones can sometimes have this tone of
the good brother and the bad.
And this tone of like individual choice, this tone of the brother that stays in the world chooses to stay in it, and the brother that gets out of it becomes a cop, chooses to be a better person, chooses to step out of it. And it kind of can feed into this like Reagan-esque individual choice, just say no kind of narrative. And I think this film just has so many subtle little choices all through it that it has that narrative, but it really shows that it's not personal choice. It's not personal choice that got the little brother out of it. It's the protection and the love of his older brother.
Yeah.
And it's not personal choice that led to the older brother falling into it. It's circumstance.
100%.
It's this idea of like, I just think it's so beautifully told. It's so well done. And I think it's something that I really love, and it's so hard to pull off when society, because I guess storytelling is all about choices. Storytelling is all about characters making choices. So to have a film that works as a storytelling journey where characters are making choices, but they are still forced into their situation by their situation, I just thought it was really subtly done and really beautifully done. And
That's
just
so nice
an effective little story,
I really liked, just kind of writing off what you just said as well. I think so often in these stories, which have been told so many times, there is that idea of the good brother and the bad brother. And like whether like this one chose to stay and this one, chose to get out. I think that the is it Kit? Was that the brother's name? Fuck, man. I literally just Lex. Sorry. That Lex was like who's the older brother. It was very humanized guy. Like I was rooting for him the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was really, really sad and really tragic, but also it didn't show that he made the choice to be an asshole. It wasn't like he still stayed loving and kind and committed and so in love with his brother and wanting so well for his wife and his daughter, wanted to be a really good.
But he didn't, it's not like he was, I also love that, it wasn't like he wasn't doing, that's the other thing that sometimes these stories can fall into a trap of oh, he's an angel, but the world, the circumstances made him do things that from an outside eye, from a place of privilege, you can say he's making an immoral choice there. He made immoral choices. He made, but it sort of makes you go. So there's this film called, what's it called? Shoplifters. It's a Japanese film. I haven't seen it since it came out. It's a beautiful film, but it sort of explores similar themes, which is just this poor family and they're all shoplifters. And it really gets to the heart of this stuff, which I think is so powerful, which is the idea that morals are a privilege, the idea that that ethics are a privilege. Like I can look at someone and go, well, I would never
I would never steal that.
I would never steal from my brother.
Yeah.
I would never do this. I would never do that. And not even that. Like, even if I do it, I know that it's morally wrong. But that idea that morals and privilege are all tied up together. And what I'm saying is, like, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's an easy thing to say or to write. But I think when art and entertainment tells that story, I think it's so beautiful. And this film was very effective in doing it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like, properly, like, I really, really do think so. This is one of those ones I would tell people, this is a good movie. You should watch this.
I thought one other thought is this idea of I thought it was very well done and felt very true, is the idea that the mother is an alcoholic. Again, we've seen this trope before. The idea that the older brother, so there's a scene where the younger brother has a beer. He's like, you don't fucking do that. We don't do that. We don't touch that stuff. It's one beer, then it's heaps of beers. And this idea of like, I can't even get to it. I just thought it was really cool. I'm not even going to analyze it. Just this idea that the lesson that he took from his mother being an alcoholic was to never, ever, ever drink, was to not touch it, was that's bad, so I'm not even going to do it ever.
Not even that, never let his brother drink.
Yeah, I'm going to be a real... And it's like, what I thought was really interesting was he was the one that went on the journey to end up becoming an addict, because it was... two things, I think. Like, he only saw alcohol as the problem, not the behavior and not the relationship with it. But also this absolutism that it's like, I'm going to completely cut that out of my life, which I'm all for people doing if that's what they need to do. But it's actually about how do I have a healthy relationship to that, rather than... I just thought there was so many subtleties and so many different things, and I can't believe that was Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I loved the scene, like, about a third of the way through, between the two young brothers and their mum. And they wake her, she's drunk, and they wake her. But there's also, I love that it's a representative of an alcoholic who loves her kids, though.
Yeah.
There for her kids, like, wants to be with her kids and stuff like that. It was lovely. But they wake her up and they go, can we please play? And she's just like, yeah, all right, we can play. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, and then they start to make cocktails for their mum, and the youngest brother's making a Kool-Aid for him and his brother. And then they sit down together and they play Scrabble.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the most beautiful little, like, 45 seconds of, like, just capturing of, like, two boys hanging out with their mum and wanting to spend time with that. I thought that was really, really
putting
sweet.
on her makeup. And
yeah, making herself look real pretty. And
it's something that to be honest, there's sort of a trope in there, but there also isn't. There was a real truth to that single mother that not even doing her best, but just there's love and there's something really cool. There's just an honesty, I think. I think with stories like this, they're so often not good. All they need to be good, and this is a big ask, is just a love for the characters.
Yeah.
Not even a love, an empathy. Just, this is a story. It's a very effective piece of empathetic storytelling. And
100% couldn't agree more.
And I thought it was really interesting. Like, there's just this is the other thing. There's a moment of really sort of shocking, upsetting violence early on in the film, which we won't talk about too much. But it sort of is hinted at through the film, the impact it had on the younger brother. And I think a lesser filmmaker, particularly made in 1997, right? Because that violence, heads up to anyone watching it.
It's full on.
Like, do a little, if you've got triggers, do a little thing, like do a little Google. I thought what was really interesting is, I think, a lesser filmmaker would have made that the whole point, would have flashed back to that moment, would have made it all about that. And then the flashback that it does right at the end doesn't flash back to that, flashes back to that night when the little brother can't sleep and the older brother says something like, just go to sleep, I've got this, or you're going to be okay. And it's just like, that was such a well-played little flashback of like, yeah, this is just someone that's taken on the pain of someone else or taken on the brunt of something. I just thought it was really, really interesting to see, a story that I've seen a lot but done well.
I just think so often we see that older brother character as being very aggressive and loose and bad, quote unquote bad. Then there was just so much love in him, and it made me. I was rooting for him the whole time.
Devil's advocate, though. No, I'm joking. Devil's advocate, I reckon that maybe.
Now, Rosie Perez is in this, and I've had a chat with John Leguizamo before. True, on Instagram, where I asked him a question, he answered me.
Yeah.
No, I asked him how many movies have you done with Rosie Perez, and he said I've done 3. And in my head, this is when I knew that I was a psychopath and this podcast was wrong. I was like, you've done 4.
Yeah.
I didn't say that to him. I'm not going to correct the John Leguizamo. He's not in any scenes with Rosie Perez in this film. I love her. I will love her till the day I die. I think she is one of the most charismatic actors I've seen on screen. I just love her. Yeah. I want to be her friend. I want to hang out. I don't even fucking know her. Like, I think she's great. But he's not in any scenes with her. This is John Leguizamo, quintessential mid-90s. So we're in Hollywood Guizama. What was it? Leguizollywood.
I think we're in Sexy Luigi, aren't we?
It's 97, so this is post Romeo Juliet. No, Romeo Juliet's the year after, isn't it?
But Romeo and Juliet was, do we call that Leguizollywood?
That's Leguizollywood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe it was filmed earlier because it's got a Baby Luigi vibe. Yeah. I mean, Sexy Luigi vibe. But I was really looking forward to seeing this movie because we kind of exhausted all of his stuff in the 90s very early. It's also when the period where he made obviously as he's gotten bigger, he's made more and more. So this, I believe, is our last little 90s legs.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, yeah.
And it was just, I love 90s legs. I really, really do. I think that now we have watched 95% of everything he's ever made, ever fucking hell. I can say that I think 90s legs is my favorite. I need to do a proper assessment.
I think I think that's probably right, but I also think it's more just like I really think there's good in all of them. Like, but not even in a way that I go like I just don't know if that's the right. Let me take that, put that in my pocket, get back to you.
Okay.
Because I think there's like I think there's a different way to categorize like what my favorite legs is, and I'm gonna have to like look at all the movies.
But I also think I like 90s legs because I watch it as a psycho, has watched everything he's ever done, and go, you're going to be with John Leguizamo soon. You're going to be an John Leguizamo soon.
Yeah.
And you're not right now. Right now, you are. There's the main character, another one, a list of 3. There you are.
He's 2 names. He's 2 names.
He's 2 names. He's 2 names. And I'm like, it's about to, you're going to fucking
He's going to get his own title card soon. Yeah, totally.
Very fun.
Beautiful movie. Really lovely.
Any final thoughts at all?
Yeah, I love Rosie Perez. I think it's just maybe in our day and age, every movie has to be groundbreaking, and it either has to be Marvel or it has to be high art or it has to be really interesting. And I think sometimes
little stories
I just miss, and I love, because I think when this is bad, it's the worst. Like when it doesn't work, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But when it's good, it kind of is lovely.
Yeah, you just get to grab a little story. Same thing happened when we watched Hanging with the Homeboys for me.
Yeah.
I was like, this could be bad, but it's like, no, I just really liked how this story was told.
It was Hanging with the Homeboys, the crazy, I forget his name.
4 mates hanging out one night over the course of one night.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was thinking of a different one. Totally.
Like, it's like I went into it going, this is going to be a sodgy comedy from the early 90s. It's like,
and
no.
it was, but it was lovely.
I'm going to give this 3 Leguizamos.
Yeah.
Again, not anyone at this point. If you don't know what a fuck it is,
3 Leguizamo.
It's got that legs in the 90s vibe. I think that his character, if it was true legs, would have died, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And if it was true legs, 1 or 2 more scenes. Do you know what I mean? It was just shy of being a true legs. But so it gets 3 Leguizamos from me.
This felt like, like negative film. This felt like a negative film, True Legs, because True Legs is usually he's in the first act and then he pops up for one scene in the third act and then maybe dies, often dies. But it's that pattern of he's in the first act, then he's in nothing, then he's in one scene in the third act. And you get the sense he had a couple more scenes in the second act, but they cut them.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
so
only
the vibe.
reason
Yeah.
they brought him back was because they had to to make it make sense
Yeah.
that the character is in the first act. They're like, he's too important in the first
True.
act.
If it weren't for the fact that he gets back onto drugs, they could have cut Legs' character.
It's the pattern is he's in the first act, and then the only reason they keep the scene at the end is because they realize how important he is.
I'm going down to 2.5. It's 2.5 Leguizamos from me.
Well, okay, cool. I was actually going to say this is an interesting inverse of that because most of his time is in the second and third act. Like it's like he's not in the first act, then he spends all his time in the middle. He's in the bit where John is never in.
Yeah.
He's in the bit where he's not in. I also think, yes, he doesn't die, but he does get shot in the knee.
Yeah, I know, but like because he doesn't get shot in the tum or the chest or the head, it felt less legsy. He got
That's
shot
true.
Isn't it crazy? He got shot in the leg and it was less legsy.
That's funny. I think it still is the same spirit. I think he was in the same amount of scenes. They were in a different order. He does get shot at the end. He doesn't die. I think it's like, for me, it felt like a remix of all the things we love about John. So I'm giving it 3.5.
Okay.
It's like a 4, but it loses a half because it doesn't get to that stuff.
I would love to hear from people who have seen the film.
No one's seen it.
No, because based on Letterboxd, like literally, it's got, how many reviews has it got? Like none, like 14.
Because it's clearly... I'd be fascinated to find out why no one's ever...
It's just another one of those movies that just falls through. Like,
I mean, and that happens, doesn't it?
I'm
You
just so
see
glad
that
we got to
happen.
see it.
But this is a good one. There's a lot of okay ones. This is a really nice one.
Yeah.
I would love to know like what the release was like. Did it play festivals? Who knows? I'll forget to look it up. Mish, thank you so much for doing Mish and Zach's Leguizamo with me.
I'm right back at you, mate.
Tom, hope you're feeling better 2 weeks ago. Otherwise, see you next week.
Bye.
The Mish and Zach podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We believe that our collective culture will never reach its full potential until we embrace the history and the truth of the oldest cultures of this land.